My name is Feng Chun Miao. I'm the chief of the unit for technology and artificial intelligence in education. I'm responsible for the development of the global governance mechanism for AI in education. We are also providing support for member states in fostering, we call it AI-ready policymakers. At the same time, actually, I'm also responsible for a large range of projects relating to the use of technological innovation. I have been paying more attention to the global issues, especially the global governance of the use of technology in education. And for this reason, I have been joining the development of some global normative instruments in this field. Actually, yesterday we just launched the official recommendation on ethics of AI. I was one of the members of the task force in developing this recommendation. From UNESCO, from last year, we tried to define AI literacy. We think that AI literacy comprised both data literacy and algorithm literacy. The data literacy meaning that it does not mean that everybody needs to become a data engineer, but everybody needs to understand how AI are collecting our data and how AI are labeling our data, how AI are manipulating our data, and how providers, the companies, including the public institutions, are analyzing our data. So we call this one is data literacy. Everybody needs to understand. After we understand, we will be more mindful and cautious when we share our AI, and we will be more cautious before we click, accept all the cookies or accept all the conditions when we are using some social media or online platform. So that's the data literacy. And then for the algorithm literacy, it's a kind of ability to understand how the AI algorithm find the patterns and connections in the data about us. Because when we are using the online banking, online shopping, online platform, the algorithm are reading us. They try to find our behavioral pattern, our hobbies, for example, while we are using TikTok or any other online platform to watch video. After we watch 5 or 6 videos, the AI algorithm will identify our pattern, what's our preference. We need to understand this. Even we don't know what's the coding, what's the algorithm programming language, but we need to know that the AI algorithm are recognizing our patterns, and the algorithm are trying to find the connection in the data about ourselves that could be useful for us to have, we call it human-machine interaction. So we believe that the AI literacy will comprise both data literacy and algorithm literacy. All the citizens need to understand, need to master in order to live and work with AI. So that's one perspective. The other one, of course, all the countries, if they think the international competitiveness, they need to think of the advanced AI skills they need to develop, especially among their high quality human resources. So for the first perspective, that was the focus of the forum of last year. And we understand that all the citizens, no matter how old or how young we are, all citizens need to understand what the impact AI might be to us and to the society, and what AI can do and what it cannot do, because we need to understand the limitation of AI. AI is, so far has a lot of technological limitation. It also have the ethical limitation, which means we need to also understand when AI is useful, when the use of AI may be questioned whether we should use it or not. For example, in education, several years ago, there's a technology developed by a US company to ask a student to wear the AI headband and to test the electronic waves of the student when they are learning. So we need to question whether this should be used or not. Everybody needs to understand how we can use AI and steer the AI towards the public good. To achieve this, we think that everyone needs to achieve a certain level of AI literacy, including knowledge, skills, and value orientations on AI. And sometimes we also need to think of the approaches different countries are taking. Some countries are taking more, we call it a humanistic approach. The more focusing on the humanistic topic about AI. For example, the history of AI, ethics of AI, social impact of AI, and the value orientation about AI. Not so much about technology, but some other countries' curriculum would focus more on the technology part, meaning that they are focusing on teaching students about some skills. And usually with this approach, we call it experience, use, and design, meaning that this kind of quite commonly recognized methodology to develop AI skills, especially among students, meaning that give the young student experience, show some very fantastic, use of AI, their functions, and then ask them to use it to understand the skills and the process and the knowledge, and then design. Usually give students, we call it semi-finished products, ask them to build a new AI tools or even to complete some semi-finished algorithm, and through which the student could understand the data structure and the algorithm, and also practice some programming language skills. So that's basically what I want to say. It's not so sequential, and it depends really on the topics and the skills. In terms of the global trends, I think one of the issue is, in the very beginning, around even more than 5 years ago, the AI was developed without much regulations. It's a kind of, we call it a wild development, and without ethical regulations. And it caused a lot of problem. I think to me, if we talk about the global trends, at this moment, the AI development is entering a kind of a bottleneck, but also it's coming to a point that is just before another wave of breakthrough, meaning that it's come to a calm stage, and now it's also conceiving maybe another breaking point. That's my feeling, because first of all, the AI developers and providers are facing a stricter and stricter ethical regulations, and also we know that many things in the beginning they should not do, and they will be banned, they will be stopped, which means, for example, how they are mining users. So I think that's if you ask me, the first the global trends we need to address is the solutions we are deploying AI tools, because for the AI provider, once again, they are promoting cloud platform, because they are promoting their cloud platform, and they want countries to use their platform, a cloud platform. And there's also top 3, top 4, top 5 clouding providers. They said, oh, clouding is the best solution. But the use of clouding solution will also provoke another issue. We call it data sovereignty. Who are the owners of the data? For our individuals, according to the new laws, according to the new recommendations on ethics of AI, we believe that we are the owners of the data. But 5 years ago or 3 years ago, the AI provider, claimed that they are the owner of the data. If you use Facebook, they own our data. Now we all gradually believe that we should own the data, not the Facebook or not the AI provider. And then it's about individual data, but about the national data. If it's, for example, in I think if you check the literacy, you will find that in Korea, when carriers use the national information system for education, there's indeed this can dispute. If the country is about country's educational data, who are the owner? For example, if we store them in a cloud that is based in Europe or in US, who should have the sovereignty of the data? It's we call it data sovereignty. The next generation of breakthrough about algorithm, because so far the algorithm are trained based on data. If you develop an algorithm, for example, about the sign language or about the learning behaviors, you train some algorithm in Korea, use the data from Korean students and teachers. If you want to, okay, there's a company want to introduce these tools to other countries, they found that this kind of algorithm cannot be transferred easily because it's really, really data sensitive. So the ability of transferring the algorithm is very weak. So that's why, now in the AI areas, there's another trend is that to consider a much stronger algorithm and much stronger AI tools. I think there's a turning point. We are in a turning point. Thank you for the question. First of all, we are talking about the readiness of policymakers, because AI is a new area, is an emerging area, and almost no country had been ready for this new trends. So we already found that most of the policymakers are not ready. What are the possible risks, and how they could plan the policies that could leverage AI in education. For this purpose, starting from 2-3 years ago, we started to develop guidance, and in April this year, we publish the AI and education guidance for policymakers. Now we are making it available in all the 6 UN languages, and we will publish all the 6 UN language versions of this guidance by end of this year of using AI, including in education. We want to sound out that it's not that all the countries have the awareness. According to the latest statistic, almost 200 countries globally. Still, there's more than 1/3 of countries don't have any forms of laws to protect the data privacy. No need to mention the use of AI education. Even for the laws and the regulations to protect the general data privacy, so far still almost 1/3 of the countries don't have this kind of law. And according to our information, only around more than 10 countries that have developed some strategy on the use of AI in education. And most of them were integrated into the overall AI strategy and not a specific AI strategy. So that's for the first one, for the policymakers, we really want to call on for more attention from the policymakers about the equity, inclusion, and ethics related to AI education. As I mentioned in the very beginning, we are also developing some guidance on the ethical principles relating to the use of AI in education. This is really adding to UNESCO's recommendation on the ethics of AI, because UNESCO's recommendation on ethics of AI is about the ethics relating to the use of AI across all the sectors, and it's about the general use of AI. But for us, we think that in the education sector, there's a lot of sector-specific issues, including how we could use learners' data, because the learner, they're young, they don't have cautious about the possible risk. Just for your example, in 2019, in October, in China, the Cyberspace Administration and the Ministry of Education issued regulations to ban all kind of, as I said, the headbands, AI-powered headband, and also the AI-powered camera from the classroom. Because before it happened, some company install AI-powered camera in front of the classroom to monitor the student behavior. And the school principal sitting in their office can watch every student, and even they don't need to watch because AI will alert. Okay, in the class grade 1, there's 10 students are sleeping, and you should pay attention. You should call the teachers. Then, so this kind of intrusive technology should be banned, should be prevented from the learning settings. Of course, we also need to acknowledge that there are a lot of uncharted ethical issues, meaning that we don't know yet. We need to understand the unknowns, gradually to uncover or reveal the unknowns part, especially relating to ethics of using AI in education. And so I think the ethical principles on the use of AI in education is also one of our focus. And for this purpose, we are organizing almost annual international conference on AI and education to facilitate the knowledge sharing and policy debate.